Konnichiwa minasan. I hope this video finds y'all well. In this video, I wanted to show, I guess we could call it hidden techniques, but really nothing is hidden in karate. It's right in front of you. You just got to see it. You just got to find it. So let's get right to it. This video is not going to contain punches and kicks and blocks and all that stuff that we normally see in the martial arts. What I wanted you to look at and focus on was the inside of your arms. If I bend my arm, which I am, there's an invisible line from my shoulder to my wrist. And when I straighten out that arm, anything on the inside of that line will get struck. Okay? So if I have my partner here, I'm going to use his shoulder as a target. And I'm going to make sure that my arm is, his arm I should say, is on the inside of my imaginary line. So here it is, and when I straighten it, we get a strike, we get a reaction. You know, if my line is on the outside of his arm, I'll miss it. Now, why is this good to have and know? Well, if we're fighting and tussling, and I have my opponent's head like so here, his head is on the inside of that line. So just by straightening it, I'm able to strike him, not with the fist, but with the inside. This can also be applied even to the body. Okay, coming up top. Because all of those targets were inside of that line. But it doesn't end there. The leg from the hip to the heel, when it's bent, has an invisible line. And when I straighten out that leg, it will strike anything on the inside of that line. So if we step back here and so we can see my partner's legs, if I put my leg behind his, you're going to see that his leg is on the inside of that line. So when I straighten it, it kicks out. We'll see it again. When I straighten it, it kicks out. So what that does for you is it creates an interesting way to control your opponent without putting a lot of effort into it. And here's what I mean. If I have my partner here, let's say that my partner throws or is grabbing with a straight right. We'll just keep it simple like that. I'm going to ask him to come up top. I'm going to block it. Now, I'm going to put my right hand on his left shoulder, and I'm going to step behind. Now I have both his neck inside of the invisible line on my arm, and I have the back of his leg on the inside of the invisible line on my leg. Now watch what happens when I straighten them both out. No effort involved. This struck up top, which got my opponent to lean back. Then straightening out the leg finished him off by knocking his lower parts out from under him. Now, if you notice, I just pushed my partner. But if he'll tighten up his arm a bit, I'm going to strike it this time. One more time. So you can imagine, if we do that technique we just did, if you go up top, you can imagine how this is going to strike that neck All right, so you're going to get he's going to feel a large, heavy impact, not from what he thinks is coming, which is the fist, but actually a whole other part of the appendage. So if we go from this angle, same technique, and you see and naturally I struck my partner across the chest and not the throat for safety. But you can get the idea when striking what happens when striking the throat. So when y'all are practicing your karate, your martial arts, and you do a movement that might seem strange to you, it might be an extension of a hand, or you might hold the fist out longer than you should, or there may be a strange movement in your forms where you straighten the leg out and maybe turn it. Now, hopefully, after watching this video, you can look a little deeper into those techniques and maybe look past the punch and look past the kick and instead look at the inside of that appendage. All right, here and here. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you can use this information to your advantage somehow. And thank you so much. We'll see y'all in the next video. どうもありがとうございました。